Well, welcome everybody. It's 2 o'clock. My name is Chris Thurber. I'm the co-founder and director of content here at Expert Online Training, and very pleased to be providing this webinar for power users. So we're glad that so many people have been able to join us, and if you are listening to a recording of this, that's great. You weren't able to join us live and participate in the Q&A at the end, but we're hopeful that this content will help you get the greatest value out of your subscription to Expert Online Training. So many thanks for your loyalty, and let's get right to talking about Expert Online Training's advanced features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the website here and remind everyone when you log on to Expert Online Training that you'll see this welcome screen, and the first place you should probably go is My Dashboard. And when you click on Dashboard here, want to point out two things right away. You see an icon here for the Help Center, and clicking there or all the way over on the left-hand side will bring up a menu of different video tutorials. These are actually screencasts that I made that talk through some of the basic features of Expert Online Training. Now, since this webinar is designed for power users, I'll simply point out the fact that the Help Center exists and encourage all of you to be sure that you reference that if you run into any snags. And if it's Monday through Friday between 9 and 5 and the screencasts in the Help Center aren't helping you solve your problem, you can always click on the Contact Us and talk to one of our support coaches here. 877-237-3931 is our sales and technical support line. After hours, you can leave us a message and we'll be happy to get back to you as soon as we can. Really happy to tell you that Josh Gadad, who's been with us for more than 4 years, heads up that very capable team and will most likely be the person you'll speak with now during the spring and summer should you run into any snags. All right, so that takes care of online help as well as our toll-free number. Now let's talk about some of the more advanced features of Expert Online Training. One of the first things you notice here is that I have my logo, Camp Spirit, up on the pretend version of the camp. I'm going to use this demo account to show you some of the advanced features, but of course your director dashboard is not going to have my logo on it. You're going to want your own logo. So let's go to administration and let me remind you how you can upload your own dashboard logo. See several choices here. There are about 9. The bottom one here is customize the dashboard logo. When you click on that, you can upload a new logo simply by pressing the delete or upload new logo button. And what I would suggest, and again, this is a power user webinar, so I don't mind getting a little geeky here, is that you actually edit a PDF, a JPEG or a PNG image of your logo in a program like Photoshop that allows you to change the size of the image. And that needs to be somewhere between 30 and 500 pixels. If, for example, you have some problem uploading, it might be because the logo is too large. So we even have a resize logo button here and function that will adjust your logo proportionally automatically. But what you might want to do, since you've got a seal or a part of your logo that's less important and you really want a kind of banner like I have on mine, is to do a little bit of tinkering in Photoshop with your logo before you upload it. I tinkered with mine and made it exactly 500 pixels wide, and then you can see the result is pretty good. Looks clean, and you can do the same thing with your camp's logo. That way, when your learners, your staff, come on board, they are really feeling like they're part of your camp or summer school or Parks and Rec department, and I think that's pretty important. Next power user feature that I want to show you is something that a lot of people are surprised to remember. It's one of the reasons why they subscribe to Expert Online Training in the first place, but then they kind of forget, like, oh yeah, that's actually really helpful, and that's our standards page. When you click on the standards page here, you'll see a listing beginning with the American Camp Association and continuing through the provincial camp associations of Canada. If there are any other associations that you would like us to have up here because you're an international camp association, simply send me the accreditation standards for that association, and I would be happy to create what I'm about to show you now, which is a table listing alphabetically all of the 100 video training modules in the Leadership Essentials library with the corresponding standard. In this case, we're looking at ACA standards, but if we want to go back to the standards and, for example, look at Association des Cons de Québec, then we see the Québécois standards and how they correspond to our current videos. Now, how does this help you? Does it mean that if you play, for example, 15-passenger van safety for your staff and they all pass the quiz, that you can say you have passed or met transportation standards 8 and 15? Well, not exactly. It really depends. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the standards table, you see a longer explanation that I've given you about our position on standards. First of all, accreditation standards do outline mandatory and recommended practices for camps and other outdoor programs, and you should know what those are. Meeting the standards sometimes is as simple as checking a box that says, yes, I discussed this with my staff. Other times, you'll want to see them perform a skill, such as how you meet lifeguarding standards in the aquatic section. So you need to understand, of course, what the standard requires you to do. But the reason we've provided this concordance table is directors and owners find it incredibly helpful to know how much progress they've made meeting accreditation standards, if it's a visitation year, by educating their staff using expert online training. So, for example, almost all outdoor programs have lifeguards. Let's say that one of the things you require for all of the staff who are going to be participating in aquatics is the module active lifeguarding. Well, that certainly helps you meet the standard PD8, which is a program standard, the aquatic standard 6, and the aquatic standard 15. Those standards also require a skills demonstration, so it wouldn't just be a discussion of the importance of proper scanning and brakes and proper technique and lifeguarding, but also demonstration of skills. On the other hand, you have a human resources standard, HR 10, that requires that some of your staff training, and it doesn't specify how many hours, needs to cover working with parents. So if you show your staff advanced skills for working with difficult parents, part 1 and 2, if you assign those modules and they watch the videos and pass the quizzes, you've probably done already 5 times as much as most camps and youth programs do in educating their staff about working with parents. So I would say for that one, you certainly check that you had completed the requirement for that particular standard. All right, well, I hope that that answers that question. And by the way, if you have questions going on, please simply hang on to those, and I'll look at your, I will simply look at your chats as we go through. All right, so the next thing that I would like to cover, if we go back to my dashboard, is the capacity to print records. And this is really important. You'll definitely want to be sure that you do this, especially if you're using expert online training to help you meet accreditation standards. When you want to find out what your staff have done and how much progress they've made, one of the things that you'll want to do is print a report. If you go to the dashboard section, and I accidentally clicked on administration, but click on statistics, that's going to load up some basic statistics that you'll see here at the beginning. How many staff have completed their assignments, how many have logged on at least once, how many videos have been watched, etc. And then you can look more carefully at the groups and assignments that you've made. Now, as you all know, because it's part of the basic setup, Expert Online Training has 4 default groups that it will create for you with a dozen video training modules assigned to each group. Those are new staff, returning staff, program staff, and supervisory staff. If you like the default assignments that I have designed for those 4 groups, your only task is to link people to the groups by entering their email addresses and dragging and dropping their names to the particular assignment that I've created for you. But you can also create your own custom assignments. In any case, back to assignments here. If we want to see, for example, the group that we called rookie staff, how much progress they've made, we could say view assignment stats. And we'll click on that and say, okay, well, that looks pretty good. Looks like somebody's began their assignment. They've watched classic problem solving. That's fantastic. And now we'd really like to know, we'd really like to document this. So having understood what progress has been made, and hopefully most of these bars that I'm highlighting here will be completely full once your staff have completed their assignments as you near opening day. But what you're going to want to do now is export the assignment summary to Excel. So back on the View Statistics main page, see the button here that allows me to export statistics to an Excel spreadsheet. And most people have Excel, but you can pretty much do any comma delimited file. Once you've clicked on that, you'll notice in the lower left-hand corner of most machines, if you're using a PC or a Mac, and there it is going to pop up and show you that Expert Online Training, Staff Statistics, Leadership Essentials 2016. You've got the names of all your staff, their emails, how many times they've logged in, what assignment you gave them, that is to say, what is the name of the group to which you gave them, and then whether or not they've completed. Now, most of the progress here, since this is a fictitious camp with just my friends enrolled, is going to say progress close to 0%. But what you want to see is that everybody's got a status that reads complete and a progress that's 100%. Fantastic. All right, the next feature we're going to look at is how to activate closed captioning. So if you go back to my dashboard and click on View Content, I'm excited to share with you that we have all of our video training modules closed caption translated into English, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. So for example, if I click on Cracking Kids Secret Code, if I say, hey, I'd really like to watch this video, and I'm assigning this, for example, to staff for whom English is not their first language. I want to make sure that they have an opportunity both to listen to the English as well as to read it. Or I have some staff who are deaf or hard of hearing. Then for sure what I want to make sure I'm doing is activating closed captioning here. So you see in the upper right-hand corner the closed caption button. Want to make sure that that is clicked. And so I'll be able to do that in just 1 second here. Minimize that. I'm going to press the video here. It's going to lag a little bit because we're using GoToWebinar, and that's not designed for streaming media. But the idea here is that I'll be able to show you what the subtitles look like. So let me fast forward to a certain portion of the screen. If I click on closed captioning and then press pause, you can see here closed captioning in English, the magic of the staff shirt, as I call it. Apparently that's what I was saying at that moment. Now, you can switch between English, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. Once you decide what language you want to subtitle things in, and by the way, this is something that your individual learners will do themselves, but I'm sharing it with you, the owners and directors, because it's terribly important that you share this feature with your staff if they don't notice it themselves. So if you have some, for example, Chinese-speaking staff, let's fast forward here to a portion of the video, and I'll show you what that looks like. Now, my Mandarin's a little bit rusty here, but that looks like a really accurate subtitle. You see it right down here at the bottom in Mandarin characters. And again, the idea here is it's especially useful for staff whose English might be pretty good, but you don't want them to misunderstand anything that's communicated in the video training modules. So it's a wonderful luxury, not just for our deaf and hard of hearing subscribers, but for anyone, that subtitles exist, English, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. You choose your language, and then you click the closed caption button here in the upper right-hand corner of the video player. While we're here looking at videos, I want to share with you a couple of other really interesting features. You can change the visual quality. Some of your staff are going to be using machines that are connected to not a T1 line, but perhaps a slower cable modem, and they'll want to play a file that's smaller, exact same video, but slightly less sharp resolution, only it's going to play much faster. So when we decrease the resolution of the video, It's a smaller file size. That means it's going to stream more quickly. So if any of your staff are calling you to say, oh, the videos keep hitching, remind them that there is this feature here, change video quality, down here at the bottom, that will allow you to choose a medium or low resolution of the video. And again, it's not highly pixelated, but a discerning eye will be able to tell the difference, especially up on a big screen. But this allows it to stream more quickly because, of course, the file size is smaller. For those of you who have EOT subscriptions and will be bringing your laptops to a remote site that does not have a fast internet connection, but you would like to use our videos in order to do some on-site training, well, then the most important thing is to download those videos, and we provide instructions right here. You do have the capacity to download the videos. The videos are all digitally rights managed. DRM protection means that you won't be able to play it after December 31st because there's a little bit of software around the video that will prevent that. But the instructions for downloading videos, it's a fairly straightforward six-step process. And at any time, if you run into a snag, you can just call us and we'll talk you through it. Essentially, you're going to download a program called Adobe Air, and then you're going to download our media files, and then you'll finally download the video file itself. The key piece of making sure that these videos will play remotely offline is that you'll need to press play and watch the first maybe 10 seconds of each video in order to encode it on your machine. So think of it as the glue that holds the video and the DRM protection together. And in order to cause that glue to solidify, you need to play the first few seconds while you're still connected to the internet. So if you think about it this way, downloading videos obviously means you have to have an internet connection. And you're doing this in your office prior to going to a remote location. After you've downloaded the players and the videos themselves, each of the videos that you want to be able to play far off in the wilderness, you'll need to actually watch the first 10 or 15 seconds of, let it play on your machine just for 10 or 15 seconds, and that makes sure that everything is copacetic, and now you can unplug from the internet, travel far and wide, and be able to watch it wherever you want. And as I said, it will time out on December 31st. The next thing I'd like to remind you about is a very cool feature to increase a sense of community in your day camp, overnight camp, Parks and Rec department, or summer school, and that is the virtual staff lounge. So back to the director dashboard, one of these gray buttons says virtual staff lounge, and what this does is enable you as the owner director or leadership director, director of training, to have really cool conversations online in a password protected way that's not as flashy or cheesy as something like Facebook, that is not as racy as Snapchat, but simply ask people to reflect on key aspects of the summer. So you see I've started 3 conversational threads here, one on dining services, one on camper discipline, and one on alumni affairs. You can start a category just by clicking the Manage Category button, but let's take a look at what those look like, and then I'll show you kind of how to start one. So in the category called Dining Services, I've begun a conversation about favorite food. If I click on favorite food, you see that I've posted a question. When you were a camper, what was your favorite food? Now, everyone can see that question, everyone who is part of your camp and has logged on to your subscription of Expert Online Training. Don't worry, staff from other camps can't see it. And they will all be able to either reply or quote or edit something. They can post a picture. Someone, me, has posted an answer to this question. I really like chicken patties with barbecue sauce. Now let's say someone thought that was really nasty. Well, they can click on reply, say, okay, what do I want to say? I thought the chicken was gross! Exclamation point, and go ahead and add an emoticon, and if I wanted to add a file or a link, I could. In fact, let's say that I wanted to link to something about good nutrition. Well, if I had a PDF or something, I could definitely do that. You all know how to browse to the hard drive of your computer and select something that you want to upload. So that's fantastic. So I can do that. I can say, oh, well, you know, come on, here we go. Let's do this. Let's see if I can find something on my desktop that would be interesting. And I'll put up this editorial calendar. That's fantastic. And submit. Great. So now if we go to if we go to the discussion, here's my reply. I thought the chicken was gross. I have an emoticon there, and now there's a file for everyone to look at. Now, this particular file, as an example, has nothing at all to do with chicken or food, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is to share key documents with your staff. And you want to start some conversational threads, maybe about new programs or new policies, so that people have a chance to understand them and respond to them. As I said, new threads as easy as clicking on the new thread button. And now we're going to start, let's see, new alcohol policy. That's going to be the new thread, and I will submit that. So now if we go to, the thread here, sorry, in the dining services category, you can see we've added a new thread about the alcohol policy. We have favorite food here, and of course I haven't been able to find it. Where did I go? Where did the alcohol policy go? Oh, it's disappeared. It's okay. If we want to manage the categories here, and here we'll have new alcohol policy, and I create that, and maybe we have other new policies as well, and I go back to the staff lounge. Now you see that I can have a new thread here. Oh, there it is. It's appeared twice. New alcohol policy. Fantastic. All right. Well, so here's a new thread, and let's say now that I actually, I want to say something about that. So I want to post a new message in the new alcohol policy and say, please read pages 5 through 10 of your staff manual. And now you're thinking to yourself, well, that's great. You can start a conversation about the staff training manual and the new alcohol policy, but here's the problem. What about that document itself? Well, let's go back to the dashboard and go under administration and click on manage your uploaded documents and links. So if, for example, I want everyone to see this really cool TED Talk, I can say, hey, I'd really like to upload a link as a resource. So I'm going to go down here and type in really awesome TED Talk. All right, and I'll add the link just by typing it in here or pasting it from my browser. Let's see if quickly we can find a really cool TED Talk that Deborah Gilboa did. She did a really cool TEDx talk recently. Here it is. She's posted it on Ask Dr. G. If we go to the Carnegie Mellon site, oh no, she's got a link to Carnegie Mellon. Let's go back to, this is called the expectation gap, and it's actually a really fun one. So I'm going to copy the hyperlink there, manage my uploaded resources, post the hyperlink, add it, and now this is available to, I'm going to just delete some of these examples here, and we'll go to this really awesome TED Talk that I just uploaded. If I click on that, and of course this is going to be available to my staff, we're going to go right to Deborah Gilboa's TEDx talk. So that's fantastic. There she is. Debbie, of course, is a member of the Expert Online Training faculty. Now, you're thinking to yourself, I am going to assign some reading in the staff training manual, but I doubt that my staff are going to actually read or understand it. Well, we've got that problem solved for you as well. If you go back to your dashboard, click on the Administration tab, and then click on Manage Your Custom Quizzes. Fantastic. So now we can make a quiz for just about anything. Let's call it Quiz on New Alcohol Policy. I'm going to create the quiz, and we'll just make the first question. What is the legal drinking age in the state of New Hampshire? Okay, and we can say here, A, 21, B, 20, C, 18, D, 19. Create the question. Now you can have 3 answers, 4 answers, 5 answers, etc. When your staff see the quiz, they won't see the check next to the correct answer, and we can choose to make the correct answer whatever we want. You can edit the quiz however you want. So if we want to say, edit the choice, edit the question text, we can, we say the legal drinking age for alcohol in the state of New Hampshire. Great, save the changes. That changed it. The correct question is always going to be indicated to you as the creator of the quiz with a green check, but you don't always have to make it A. You can simply, by moving the radio button here, you can make the correct answer D or C or B, and obviously the smart thing to do is to vary the correct answer. And then you can assign this quiz to your staff. So literally you can upload a PDF of your staff training manual. You can create a custom quiz that tests their understanding of their comprehension of it. And then, wow, you've really protected yourself from, say, a wrongful termination lawsuit when someone says, you know, you fired me for returning intoxicated from a night off, but I never understood that rule. I thought it was okay for us to come back a little bit buzzed. And you say, actually, I've printed out a record of your expert online training assignment, and I can see here that on May 27th, you logged on, you viewed the PDF of our staff training manual, you were online for 8 minutes, and you passed the quiz. So I will dispute the fact with my hard data that you somehow didn't understand the policy. Now, of course, we hope that never happens, but purely hypothetical example. In the last few minutes, before I answer some questions, I want to, which if you have questions, go ahead and type them in the chat box there. I want to show you just a couple of other really cool new features that we have in the Director's Corner. We've got some press play workshop outlines designed by Dave Malter that are absolutely fantastic. These are 75 or 90-minute workshops that are specifically keyed to EOT videos. And if you take a look here, you see how beautifully laid out they are, graphically and detailed. This is ideal to hand over to a division head, unit leader, or senior staff member to do a live presentation when your staff are participating in your on-site training that is thoroughly outlined, thoroughly timed. We even tell you what equipment you need. And Dave has inserted the key videos here. So you'll need your computer connected to the internet so you can show, for example, for this one, Skillful Discipline Parts 1 and 2, or you will have had to download those 2 videos to the hard drive of your computer using the instructions I referenced earlier. And then you'll be able to, and this is beautiful, give this assignment to someone, say, look, I want you to run a 90-minute workshop that includes, you know, some small group work, some debriefing, some brainstorming, some video work. It's a multimodal, multimedia presentation, and you don't need to come up with it, you just need to practice it, because Dave Malter, who's on the faculty of Expert Online Training, has already designed it for you. So this is a hold you closely by the hand outline that will guide a senior staff member, or you, if you would like to do it, through a professional workshop on the topic of skillful discipline. If I go back to the EOT site, you'll see we also have one on helping awkward children fit in. Later this week, we'll be posting Bullies and Targets, Part 1 and 2. And Dave also has 2 more that will be debuting on June 1st. So you can look forward to a choice of 5 different press play workshop outlines. And if you like them or have feedback on what you would like Dave to do next, simply email us. Finally, I'd like to show you on the Director's Corner here, got a couple of other bells and whistles that are fun to know about. Most people like to advertise on their website that their staff are professionally trained by Expert Online Training, and you have badges here which you can add to your website. And again, Power User Workshop here, we've given you the embed code that you can add into your HTML page so that you can display that image link on your site. And it's a powerful way to validate the hard work that you do and that your staff complete on Expert Online Training. In the Professional Development Corner, I've got some webinars just for directors. One is called Designing Your Camp Substance Use Policy, Top 10 Tips for Training Terrific Staff, and a link to a lot of articles that I've written if you'd like to read those. Your staff can earn certificates in youth leadership. We call them Youth Leader Basic, Intermediate, Supervisor, and Program Specialist. You can also earn continuing education units, and it's certainly a value add for your staff. They have to pay a little bit of money out of pocket, just a little bit though, it's not much, but if you click on the features and benefits page, we do advertise the CEUs that are possible, and it's a 3-step process that begins with contacting our Director of Continuing Education, Cindy Zabrowski. Cindy's also on our faculty, and she's adjunct at the University of Southern Maine, which has approved all of our content, just like the American Camp Association has approved all of our content. And USM will actually grant CEUs. So you can see that one CEU costs $139, two cost $179, and three cost $199. That's a lot less than CEUs cost on the open market. But having a CEU certificate, especially for your older staff who are already college grads, is a huge bonus. Many of them need a certain number of CEUs to complete a graduate degree, and it's a real value that most people don't know about. Well, we've reached the end of our 30 minutes, and my hope is that the Power User webinar has been of value to you. I hope I've showed you some corners of the website you haven't visited yet. I encourage you to email me, chris@expertonlinetraining.com, if you have ideas or feedback. Just click on Contact Us and let us know what we can do better to serve the educational needs of your staff. Thank you so much. I'm Chris Thurber, co-founder and director of content for Expert Online Training. Hoping everyone has a wonderful summer.